This is the Hard Thing Podcast. Today, we are overcoming average. Welcome back to another episode of the Hard Thing Podcast, guys. This is Justin Lewis, your co-host, here with
Ty Crockett,
your other co-host on the Thursday meditation show of the Hard Thing Podcast. This is the podcast that helps you overcome average, step up above mediocrity, all by doing hard things. What does that mean? Basically, the goal of this podcast is to help you improve your life, feel more fulfilled, have more joy, reach more goals, all by moving through the hard things that stand in between you and those goals, but also in the process, become a better person because of those hard things. And this Thursday show is all about us showing you what that process looks like. So rather than interviewing experts like I do on my Monday episodes, me and Ty are putting ourselves in the trenches, assuming these challenges that we're giving each other and doing the action items left us by the guests on our Monday show. We're doing all those things to show you the process of doing hard things and growing because of it. And we're not perfect, and that's kind of the point of this part, this particular show, to show you our imperfections, our failures, but how we're growing regardless of them and what hard things we're doing to hopefully motivate you to do the same or better than us. So with that, let's get into today's show. So, first of all, 2 weeks ago, Ty, you gave me a challenge. What was that challenge-o?
To put your Hard Thing podcast up on YouTube.
Yes. And I did it. I did it, guys. Woohoo! So, go to YouTube, and I'll be honest, it's really hard to find the Hard Thing podcast on YouTube.
It wasn't for me.
Oh, what?
I typed it in and came up. I think it was like the third one down.
What?
Yeah.
I'm the maker of the channel, and it didn't pop up for me. Okay, well, that's annoying. But anyways, you can go to YouTube and see all of these episodes up on YouTube. The video is not stellar, but we're doing what we can because this is a bootstrap organization. Mm-hmm. So it was fun. And I'm really happy you did that because it pushed me to do things that normally, like...
You wouldn't do.
I mean, that's been on the back of my mind. Mm-hmm. But you were like, do it. And so I was like, well, I got to find a way, you know?
Yeah.
And...
Well, that's the same thing for me with all these challenges that I've had so far, which is only like 2, I think.
Yeah. How long? We've only been doing this like a month.
It's been a little bit longer, actually.
Huh.
But nonetheless, like, doing so far, knowing that, like, you and I are going to have a conversation about it, it's like, okay, I need to do it. And the cool thing about that is it's training my brain to look at these challenges, that things that I've wanted to do, like the swimming 15 laps thing.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to do it. You know, I've been wanting to do things like that for a while. But I just keep pushing it off. And so by having these meetings, it's training my brain to think like, oh shoot, like I need to complete this, whatever challenge it is, even if you haven't given it to me and I gave it to myself, like I still think of it the same way.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, oh man, I need to do it. So yeah, I'm growing already.
Yeah, me too. One thing I also think is really fascinating, and I would recommend anyone who's listening to try this, find someone who's willing to give you challenges and vice versa. Because with these things that like we've been wanting to do, I don't know about you, but for me, it's like my brain doesn't even give myself excuses previously to the challenge. So for example, on my mind, it's like, you should do YouTube, and it's like, okay, but then I never do it. And in my mind, it's like I've accepted an excuse, but I never actually give myself an excuse. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like, here's a plate full of excuses and it's empty, but my brain just accepts it like, okay, that checks the box, excuses. But when you give me the challenge, it's like, no excuse, do it. And like my brain doesn't even ask like, why not? Yeah. It's just like, I'm doing it.
Right.
It's really cool. So
yeah, and this is actually so Justin and I used to do something called Man Council.
Yes.
Have we talked about it before? I think we talked about it.
I've mentioned it previously.
So Justin and I used to do that, and this is actually what we're doing now. This is exactly what the intention was.
Yeah.
Other than the business side of things, you know, because I had a business idea with the meetings that we did. But it was to challenge each other and to,
Yeah. I agree. I love challenges, so I would highly recommend you go out and find someone who can challenge you.
And if you can't find anybody that can challenge you, just accept our challenges.
Yeah.
Just take them on yourself. And
yeah.
I mean, I guess you don't really have an accountability partner. You could message us on the various medias.
Yeah.
You know, like social
medias.
stuff.
Facebook, Instagram, Facebook group specifically. Are you all right, Ty? Do I need to call the paramedics?
No, I'm good, dude. I'm
okay, cool. Next thing let's talk about is the action items given to us by this last week's guest. So, preface for everyone who has not listened to the episode, on Monday I interviewed Ann Zaprazny. It was really interesting because she is a mental coach, but specifically she focuses on athletes. So she will help athletes find coping mechanisms for stress or ways to calm down when they're at bat, you could say, if you're a baseball player or whatnot. But she also works with businesses, and it was really interesting conversation because I'd never think I'd talk to someone like that. But she gave us 4 action items. 1, invest in self-care. 2, structure your life. 3, look for social connections. And 4, seek out great podcasts. I mean, she was kind of... She literally did say, like, seek out great podcasts, like the Hard Thing podcast. But I think her idea was to fill your life with good sources of media, good information sources. Yeah. So, Ty, tell us about your experience with any of these.
Well, let's talk about the first one, invest in self-care. Tell me, Justin, what is the one thing that you do more than any other thing more frequently?
Sleep.
Right. So... what does that mean? Invest in self-care. Well, if you're sleeping, if sleep is literally you're doing that more than anything, more consistently, right? You're maintaining it over years and years of time.
Yeah.
Probably invest in a good bed, you know?
Yeah.
Good sleeping habits or whatever. Because your body needs it. So, yeah, because I was having a conversation with somebody a while ago, and it was about beds and just like how before, I'm trying to find a deal on a bed.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend a ton, but like I still want to be kind of comfortable,
Yeah. But you're willing to cut corners.
Right. To get a good deal, lower price, whatever.
Yeah.
But they were like, no, like you need to go all out. Like on a bed, that's the one thing that you should go all out on because you do it more than any other thing.
Yeah.
More consistently.
Huh.
So, I mean, as far as, investing in self-care, that's,
That's really good.
It's like,
info.
Look at the things that you do. Like, look at the past. What are the things you do most? And most of the time, the things you do most, you actually end up treating as like the least important.
Huh. I never thought of that. That's really interesting. And actually, kind of a shameless plug, if you want to get a free audiobook about sleeping better, it's a book called Sleep Smarter, 21 Ways to Sleep Better. It's really awesome, and they're really actionable items. You can get it from Audible, audibletrial.com/thehardthingpodcast, free audiobook. But seriously, if you don't want to get it from Audible, just go get that book. It's really interesting to read. I took kind of a different tack with this, and it's really funny. Like, I did this kind of experiment myself before I'd even looked at the action items. So about 2 weeks ago, okay, for those of you who don't know, my wife and I have an Xbox. We like playing Xbox. We're nerds, right? I play a game called Apex Legends, and I noticed this one week, about 2 weeks ago, that I was playing too much Apex Legends, and I wasn't spending as much time with my wife as I wanted. So last week, I was like, you know what? Self-challenge. Boom. I'm not going to play Apex Legends this week. And I didn't, which was awesome.
Wow, good job.
Well, I know you're being kind of patronizing, but whatever. Wow, good job. So funny. First world problems. But midway through the week, funny enough, my little brother-in-law comes over to our Xbox and downloads Call of Duty Warzone, which is basically exactly like Apex Legends, but
Justin's
slightly different.
Kryptonite.
Well, no, it wasn't my kryptonite, but it was like, I'm not playing Apex Legends this week, and I have some work friends that play Warzone, but I can play this one.
Oh my gosh.
No, and so Friday night, I'm like playing hours of Warzone, and like 2 games in, I realize I don't really like this game, but I play like 4 more, right? And then afterwards, and it's like midnight. Afterwards, I watch TV because I can't go to sleep. My wife has been asleep for hours. And I have this realization, like, maybe it's not like Apex. Maybe it's just video games. So this week, the one we're currently in, I gave myself a challenge to not play any video games. And that includes on the phone or whatnot. Because often when I'm bored, I'll get video games on my phone. And it's really interesting that the action item of self-care comes up because I've noticed that, like, I've just noticed a better change in myself, not that I'm saying I'll swear off video games forever, but I'm going to try and be much more intentional with how I play and what I play. I don't really want to put games on my phone anymore or spend time doing that. I might play video games with friends once in a while, but it was really kind of an eye-opener for me of kind of like a mental and emotional self-care of just moving away from those things because it gives me more time to do things I really care about. So that was my experience.
That's actually really interesting that you bring that up about the video games because I made a decision a long time ago that I just wouldn't play video games.
Yeah.
And for like 3 years, I didn't play video games.
Wow.
And I was just more productive because the thing is you find that you're sitting there, you know, and you're like, man, I really want to go play this game, but then you don't.
Yeah.
So you're sitting there, and you're like, man, I really want to go play this video game, but then instead you're like, no, I'm not going to play. So you're sitting there and you're not doing anything, and so then you start thinking, well, then what can I do with my time? Because I'm just like sitting here and bored, and then you're like, well, there is that thing that I'm supposed to clean, or there is that business idea that I always wanted to work on or do some research on or whatever, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah. And
the same goes for social media. Mm-hmm. That one is my bane now. So after the 3 years, I allowed myself to play video games, and and the cool thing is that because I went so long without playing them, like it's not really an addiction for me anymore.
Yeah.
So like when I don't want to play, like I don't have to play.
Yeah.
Whereas what filled that space is social media, and I don't do it nearly as badly as I would if I was doing video games. But, but yeah, social media is so addictive, and it's stupid because it's like it's content that doesn't even matter. Like a lot of the time, it's just like memes. That's what I want to scroll through, or it's like other people saying things that like are unimportant in my life. Like I'm never gonna meet this person. Yeah, like, they're all people that live far away that I'll never meet in real life. You know, I just follow them because they're funny or because they're interesting. But
I just thought of a really good challenge for you.
Oh, cool. Well,
and it's not what you think.
I am not thinking it's anything.
Okay, well, are you thinking?
Nope.
Always, well, that's a mistake. Let me write this down. Itchy leg. Okay.
Another thing, so going on to number 2, the structure your life. If you're ready to do that, Justin.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that one is so important because I feel like the past month I haven't been paying attention to planning at all, and so you know I get through the week and I look back and I'm like, man, what was I even? There's nothing crystallized that I can look at and be like nothing defined that I can look at and be like, yeah, I had a good week or a productive week or whatever.
Okay.
And so it kind of just all my weeks turned into like mush.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. Like mentally and just like even physically I felt like mush. Like everything was just mush in my brain, you know, looking back on the weeks. And so today, or not today, but this past 2 weeks, I think, I started writing down my goals again as I had been doing previously, you know. Yeah. And yeah, I just feel like a sense of purpose again, and I feel like more like willing to do other things. Like for example, like wasting my time on social media or playing a video game or whatever. Instead I'm like, oh, but before I do this video game, I'm gonna go, you know, mow my lawn. Yeah. Or I'm gonna go fix the brakes on my truck. Yeah. Which by the way, everybody, if you didn't know this, you can go online and just buy brake pads, and it's really, really easy to just trade them out yourself. And it's going to cost you like $60 as compared to like $300 for going to a mechanic. Just so you know, cool little tip there.
Quick tips with Ty. Anyways, you were saying?
Yeah, so structuring my life anyways. I mean, I'm curious what she was saying specifically around that. Like how, because what I'm saying is structure my life equals writing down my goals and having a crystallized plan. Yeah. Is that what she's referring to? Like how did she articulate what that meant?
From what I remember, it was in the context of kind of work-life balance. We talked about how she started her business at home, right? Okay. After she got fired. And she's the kind of person that works a lot. And so she would have to say, like, hey, you started your business so you could be with your family, they're home from school, so go spend some time with them. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Meaning like she would force herself to go from one thing to the other. So I think having goals completely falls in line with that.
One thing that's been coming up a lot in, I think, the last couple of interviews that you've done are like communication and like social connection. That's the next one is number 3.
Yeah.
Is looking for true social connections. And I think that that's very important. Do you have any thoughts on that you want to share? Or?
Yeah, actually. So Ty and I used to do man council. I currently do man council with kind of another group of friends. And we actually met last night, and one of the group told us that for the last month he's been depressed. And it was kind of funny because I tried texting him a couple of times, and he didn't really reach out, or like he didn't respond that much. I just felt like something was off, and I kept having these thoughts to call him. Right? I'm a religious person, so for me, that was like the Spirit telling me, hey, you should call him. But in my mind, it was so subtle that I was just like, maybe that's just me. And then last night, he's like, yeah, so this whole last month, I've been depressed. So my goals for this month are to see a psychiatrist and get medicated. And I really felt bad because, and also my wife had a similar experience either yesterday or the day before where a friend called her and was like, hey, you want to go on a walk? And he's struggling as well. Right now, I think social connections are so important, and we've lost the skills to find them at large in society, I think. Me personally, this month, I'm going to try and call people more often rather than texting. But I also found myself kind of at a loss of like, I've also been thinking about like mentors, finding better mentors in my life. I've been at a loss of thinking like, how do you make connections with people? How do you build those relationships? So I don't know what your thoughts are.
How do you build relationships? You talk, right? Like that's how simple it is, really. Yeah. I think we love to overcomplicate things, and really what it comes down to is if you want to have a relationship, communicate, connect with them. And the way that society has decided that we connect best is, other than like an intimate relationship, is through speech. It's communication, like speaking. Yeah. Because, interesting that you bring that up. I feel like I myself have not necessarily been depressed, but like I said, with the whole mushiness of my mind, I think that's also attributed to the fact that like because of coronavirus and this quarantine stuff that we're doing, I've been working from home this whole time, and so I haven't been able to have communication with people. I haven't been able to connect with people as much as I'd like to. And so Tuesday and today, so yesterday and today, my company had a little get together, and we were like social distancing, but like with masks. Yeah. So we, for all the people that care about that stuff. And it's fine if you do. Yeah. I cared about it to a degree, but
like a 1 degree.
Yeah. No, more than that, I'd say. It opened my mind because I didn't realize that was something that I was missing. Because I'm generally not someone who loves to get in groups of people and like have conversations, but like, as soon as I saw people, I was just like talking to them like nonstop. Like as soon as I saw them, I just started talking, and like the entire time we were together, I was talking. And then like as I was leaving, you know how like back in the day when you're a kid, and you want to play with your
you're like, I don't want to go.
You're like, I don't want to go, but the parents keep talking, and so you just hope that they keep talking because they're at the door, but they're like not leaving yet. So that's kind of how it was. Like, and these people that I work with, like I think they're great people. But I wouldn't say that like I'm friends with them the way that you and I are friends. Right. But nonetheless, I was still having conversations with them as if we were this kind of friend. Yeah. Know? And it just made me realize it's because I've been craving it, but I didn't know I was craving it because, I don't know. It's interesting how that works. Like human beings are very social creatures, so having like true social connections, like we need to reach out to each other more often. Like we all have somebody. Yeah. And if you don't, like reach out to us maybe. I don't know.
Seriously. you know what? If you don't and you want someone to talk to, we'll have you on an episode of the All Things podcast.
Yeah.
Why not?
Might as well.
You know?
I think that'd be cool, actually.
Yeah. Just
More
get to know
voices on
people.
here.
So.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's all kind of my thoughts for the third one.
Cool. And then thoughts for seeking out great sources of information, media / finding great podcasts like this one, the Hard Thing podcast.
I'm always on the prowl for a good podcast or a good YouTube video or whatever. So,
actually, do you have any good book recommendations?
I love The Fountainhead.
Well, I'm looking more specifically. I just finished my book, like the book that I was reading. Mm-hmm. I'm looking more for like personal development / building a business. Any ideas on that? Or even like things that I've read, but you're like, hey, you should give this one a read again.
I think Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Oh, yeah.
That one always, like...
It's like good, but at the same time, it's like, I don't want to read this and then hate my job for a second. You know what I mean?
But that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. I think it really is.
A healthy hatred for your job. Not hatred. It's a healthy, like...
But it's an understanding of, like, there's so much more out there.
It's a healthy desire to be like...
Yes.
I want more than this job.
Yes.
That's healthy to me.
Yes.
So
it's the antithesis of complacency.
Yeah.
Because
it's true. Yeah. Honestly, after you and I had that conversation a couple weeks ago about real estate and like investing again, I was like, man, it opened the dream. You know how we would go to that meeting and they would talk about like how the older you get, the more closed off you become to dreams. Like you need to open back up and be okay with dreaming.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to start moving towards like entrepreneurship again. Yeah. There's no better way for me. Yeah. Like I need that I need something that I'm aspiring towards, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Cool. I will definitely think about that. Well, what? Like I want to read it, but I also read it like a month ago and I want to read like something.
You read it a month ago?
I did.
Well, okay then. You don't have to read it again.
Okay. So I'll find something else, but
you should read Creating Wealth by Robert Allen.
Yes. I've read most of that, but I think that might be a good one to look into again.
Read it again.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see what I can come up with. But
cool.
So, any other thoughts on that? Or do you want to give me my challenges?
Let's go to the challenges.
The challenge round.
All right, dude.
Dun, dun, dun.
One of these
is not like the other.
I really want you to do, but all of them, in my opinion, are good.
Are worthwhile?
Yes, and they're ones that you would like to do.
Oh, good.
Or at least have goals that will help you in your current goals.
Yes.
Okay. The first one is to, within the next 2 weeks, because that's the time frame.
Yes.
Go to a real estate location and do like a tour with like an agent or whomever. So what I mean is find an opportunity, a potential investment opportunity. Okay. And go to and look at that opportunity.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two is go on a backpacking trip with me and anyone else that wants to come. And it has to be like short, like less than 2 miles. Yeah. But it can't be like car camping. Okay. It's got to be like backpacking, you know.
All right.
Backpack, walk on it. Okay.
And what's number three?
Number three is, I made them up, but they're basically a Murph, but with my own twist. So do 3 400's. Okay. What is a 400? 400 is 100 squats, 45 pounds on each side, 100 pull-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 push-ups.
45s on each side, you said?
Mm-hmm.
45s. Dang.
Those are the 3 challenges.
That's good.
That I submit.
I will do the 3 400s.
Ah, dang it.
I'm sorry. I don't
do the backpacking trip.
I don't have any backpacking gear anymore. Like, I don't have a backpack. I just have like a sleeping bag and a tent.
Yeah, well, we can borrow stuff.
Oh, yeah. Cool. I will do 3 400s.
Okay.
And again, give me the stipulations on that. Is it like, do I have to do, can I do them in any order, any set?
Yeah. Well, the way that I did it
rep
was
situation.
I did alternating between squats and pull-ups.
Okay.
10 sets each until I got to 100. And then I went over and did 100 sit-ups, and then I did 100 push-ups.
Oh, I like that. And there's no running, just doing that.
No. Not, I guess, no. I guess what my original plan was to do 1 mile at the end, but
okay.
at the end I was like, it kicked my butt. Like, I was tired.
How many of these have you done? Just one?
Just one.
Oh my gosh. Dude.
Yeah. And I didn't say this, so you don't have to accept, but I meant 3 a week. So 6, I guess.
I'll stick with 3
Okay.
total.
Well, gosh dang.
Well, just for me, it's the timing aspect. Well, 3 a week. How long did it take you to do?
Not that long, honestly, because you have to think about like doing 100 of anything. It's not gonna take that much time.
But like an hour, right?
I don't even know if it would take an hour. I feel like it took like a half.
Well, I can't do 10 pull-ups straight for 10 sets. So for
no.
me, that would be more like probably 5 pull-ups for 10 sets. Well, no, 5 pull-ups for 20 sets. But even then, towards the end, it'll probably just be like 1 pull-up.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You figure it out.
Okay, 3 a week.
You can just do 3. Just do 3 for the next 2 weeks. I'll do another challenge,
Okay.
that you can
3 for the next 2 weeks. And then I will probably up it. I want to see if I can do 3 a week.
Yeah.
So, awesome.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah?
Afterward, yeah.
Just like a nice, good workout.
Yeah, it was just a different pace than doing the Murph.
Yeah.
Because like you're doing squats with a bar and weights,
right?
Rather than just the air squats.
It's like real squats.
So and I hate air squats, and
Yeah.
so that's why I did it this way.
Yeah.
Because I'm just not a fan.
Well, I feel like the bar, in a way, like stabilizes you.
Yeah, it helps you keep your form.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rather than because when you're doing an air squat, like you don't need form.
Yeah.
Like
you do, but like
you're
if
not
you
thinking
don't,
about it.
It's not gonna kill
Because when
you.
you got weight on your shoulders from the
Yeah.
squats, like you're thinking like I need to keep the form, otherwise
Yeah.
I'm gonna like break my back.
Right.
And you can feel pressure.
Right.
And
Right.
so yeah.
Otherwise, it's like fake.
Yeah.
Fake squats. More
Fake
like
squats.
fake squats. Well, this is perfect because it is Squattober.
Squattober, huh?
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, we got a holiday for everything and a month for
Yeah. For everything.
everything.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to another episode of the show. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you want to support the show, a couple things to do. Make sure you come back on Monday for our Monday show. We're going to have an interesting one. We're going to be listening to my conversation with Cynthia Zai. She is a voice coach, and she's also from Asia. So that's
Singing voice coach?
yes, but also
Just speeches?
speaking.
Yeah.
Speeches, but like also speaking. Like we talk about projecting and doing breath exercises, which is funny because I yawn a lot. You know that. So yeah, dude. But it was kind of a dude when we recorded it. It was tough because my internet cut out like 3 times and.
Yeah.
Anyways, so come back on Monday, listen to that. As well, make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. If you're on YouTube, hit that little notification bell so you also never miss an episode. Next thing, join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/The Hard Thing Podcast. There, you can band with like-minded individuals. Like Ty and I were talking about, you can find people who will give you challenges. And maybe what we'll do is we'll do like a weekly challenge on the Facebook group or something. I don't know. Yeah. Let us know what you think about that. But if you want to give us challenges to do, you can reach out to us on Facebook or Instagram at The Hard Thing Podcast or in the Facebook group. Last but not least, help us raise $1,000 for Operation Underground Railroad. They're a nonprofit organization. They go undercover to rescue kids from sex trafficking. They literally go to the darkest places of the world, the darkest places of humanity, and try and rescue these little pockets of light that have been stolen and placed there for nefarious purposes. They take these kids out of the worst places on the planet, and they put them in these homes and they give them a better life. So if you are on board with that, if you love children, if you like seeing them have happy, fruitful lives, help us raise $1,000 for OUR. Go to GoFundMe.com/overcoming-average. donate some money there and see how many kids we can help rescue by donating some money to them. Last but not least, make sure you guys go out and do some hard things, because every hard thing you do will help you overcome average.